Let's talk Spider-Man Homecoming trailer, huh? Tom Holland returns. He premiered the character in the very good, not excellent, I think, but very, 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 very good Spider-Man Civil War, which came out in May. Spider-Man Civil War. Captain America Civil War. So, some things to get from this video, from this trailer. It's a first. I guess it's a teaser trailer, but it's more of a 2-minute full trailer, not exactly a teaser. Spider-Man has the same sort of cocky attitude he had in Captain America Civil War. Sarcastic, which is great because that's perfect. Tom Holland has nailed the Spider-Man aspect more than Tobey Maguire, and that's the writing too and directing. It's not just the actor, obviously. But Tom Holland has nailed that aspect of the character. And Peter's pretty good too from what I've seen. He's not wearing the glasses though. He's not wearing the glasses, so I don't like that choice. But so far I'm liking this. So far I'm liking this a lot. He's got an Asian friend that finds out who Spider-Man is, that Peter is Spider-Man in the trailer. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Boy, does that bother me. Part of Peter's essence to me is that he has to keep it a secret from the world. The people that he's friends with, like in the comics, Harry Osborn was his only friend in high school, really. Flash Thompson, the bully, hell, hated Peter's guts but loved Spider-Man. That was part of the character. Gwen Stacy didn't like Spider-Man. His girlfriend didn't like Spider-Man, but Peter couldn't tell her. So, and she died without her ever knowing, which is one of the biggest tragedies and one of the best stories ever in comics. So, I am kind of bothered by that. Like, they got to give him the funny sidekick, friend. Goofy, chubby sidekick. I mean, I don't know. That's like almost cliche to me. But there's a lot of good in this trailer. The suit looks fantastic. There's one part that has the winged under the armpits, like the winged web part, the webbed armpits, like the original Steve Ditko outfit. Liz Allen finally makes it into a Spider-Man movie. Now, Liz Allen in the original comic books was the cute, popular blonde that that Peter fawned over. Because remember, originally in the comics, there was no Gwen Stacy. She didn't show up until a long while later. She didn't show up until like college. And then Mary Jane Watson, MJ, didn't show up until like something like issue 34 or so, and she was like Aunt May's friend's like niece. Wasn't the next door neighbor like in that they made that weird decision like in the Sam Raimi movies? Wasn't a contemporary in Peter's high school? Wasn't a high school, student? So, but Liz Allen in the comics, she hasn't been in a movie yet. But Liz Allen, Peter liked her, but she never liked Peter. Then from what I read on Wikipedia, and I own that comic, when Peter graduates, which is like issue 28, when he fights the Multiman, that's the first comic book I ever read. I read a reprint of that. He graduates from high school in issue 28. And when that happens, she says, "Oh, Peter, I like you." Because by that point, Peter was showing more confidence. Because, hey, I'm Spider-Man. I got some strength now. I've got some confidence. And then Peter is not into her at that point. So it's good to see Liz show up. And changing the ethnicities doesn't bother me at all. I think they changed it in the comic. And honestly, they're in Queens, multi-ethnic area. It's not all just Caucasians in Queens. So that's not a change that bothers me. So Peter's here and showing off his personality somewhat. Again, no glasses, which kind of bothers me a little bit. I'm not going to lie about that. He's watching like his fight against Ant-Man, I guess on YouTube on his computer. And, he's trying to get by. And, I got to balance high school with being Spider-Man. That's cool. We've seen it a teeny bit, but not that much. They sort of fast forwarded him, unfortunately, in the earlier movies through high school. But that was an important part of Spider-Man. Again, it was 2.5 years of the comics before he even got out of high school. And Tom Holland looks like a freaking high schooler. He looks like a junior in high school. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were like 27 when the first Spider-Man movies were released, and for Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man. They did not look like high schoolers. They looked like old men. Well, old men in terms of compared to a high schooler. So this is going to be good because we're going to see at least 2 movies where you can buy, maybe 3 movies where you can buy Spider-Man as a high schooler. That's fantastic. This kid can be 23 doing Spider-Man 3 or 22, and he'll still look like a high schooler to me. Very young face, young baby face. I love it. The elephant in the room, though, is the amount of Tony Stark in this trailer, Iron Man. It does bother me on the surface, being a huge Spider-Man fan, that a B-lister like Iron Man is being put into this trailer and this movie so much in order to float a Spider-Man movie. That bothers me. But again, that's not... I don't fault Marvel and Sony for that, because they fucked up so badly with the Amazing Spider-Man movie, especially the sequel, that they cannot let the A hero, biggest Marvel superhero, fail in his first, Marvel Studios, slash Sony, wink, wink, level, Marvel Studios movie. He's got to be a success. And throwing in the biggest actor in the Marvel, in the MCU, the guy that the weight of the entire movie continuity was built with, Iron Man, putting him into your movie isn't a bad idea. I just don't like the fact that he's mentoring Peter to such a degree and playing that father figure. That bothers me just a little bit. And yes, Iron Man, before you complain that and say he's not really a B-lister, he was a B-lister for quite a while until these movies. When people said, there's an Iron Man movie coming out? Really? That's the first Marvel Studios film? People were kind of scratching their head. But to his credit, Robert Downey Jr. done an awesome job with it. He's been doing the role now for 8 years. And what was that? Like 6 movies. So he's done a really good job with that. I just don't like the amount they showed in here. But then again, hopefully he only has 2 or 3 little scenes in the movie and isn't fighting alongside Spider-Man. But then again, you see Iron Man suiting up and flying with Spider-Man at the end. That bothers me. Sorry, it does. Sorry, that bothers me a lot. I want Spider-Man to stand on his own. He's one of the biggest superheroes that's ever existed, and definitely Marvel's biggest guy. He was the A-lister for he's still the only A-lister that's existed for the past 50 years. If you want to say Hulk, Spider-Man, used to be Fantastic Four were the A-listers, and Captain America. Those were the big A-listers. And then Wolverine came along in the late 70s, early 80s as the next big A-lister. But Marvel is trying to pretend that X-Men and Wolverine doesn't exist because they don't have the rights to do the movies right now. So I'm excited for this. We're in sort of this golden age of superhero movies. We've got Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out next year. Spider-Man a couple months later. Hell, Wonder Woman looks good. DC movie. Yeah, Pat, you hate everything about DC. Yeah, I'll probably see Wonder Woman. It looks alright. And I like Tom Holland in this role a lot. And by the way, Michael Keaton as Vulture is a great pick for a villain. Remember, Vulture originally was Sam Raimi's choice to be in Spider-Man 3. He was going to be sort of the team-up villain with Sandman. They forced Vulture out, and then they wanted to shoehorn Venom in. We saw how well that turned out. So then Raimi really wanted a Vulture for Spider-Man 4. It was supposed to be, I think, John Malkovich. That fell apart. He left the project, and then they rebooted with Amazing Spider-Man, which, looking back, was a bad idea. They should have did Spider-Man 4 and ended it. But Michael Keaton's going to be great in the Birdman type role, kind of menacing, and so I'm really looking forward to Vulture. And then, of course, you have the Shocker showing up. Some people were saying that, he's going to be teaming up with the Vulture. I don't know about that. I think he'll just still be a minor B villain. I'm not sure Marvel's going to do the idea that I want, where it's like just a minor villain that can never carry its own movie for the pre credits, like James Bond sort of sequence where he fights him for like 5-6 minutes and then roll credits. We'll see what happens with that. You never know, right?